Hello. Let's talk about people in your world that are missing payments or that are not showing up to your meetings. Because as a business owner, that can be incredibly frustrating on the front that you are so excited to have a meeting, you are ready, you are prepared, for only that client to cancel or reschedule on you at the last minute. Or you've gotten through your entire process, that client has said yes, you feel so good and so certain, yet all of a sudden they stop responding to you, they no-show you, they say yes and they back out, their payments stop going through, and you're sitting here being like, how the heck do I get to the next level in my business if I feel like I can't seem to get a grasp on the process that I have right now in my current business? So that is what I want to go through a little bit in this video, because number one, the biggest, most important thing to remember is life is a mirror. And I had to learn this because this happened to me in my business. People were no-showing me. People were saying yes and then backing out. And it was incredibly frustrating. So there's a couple things that I did that can maybe help you if this is what you're experiencing right now. Number one is go within yourself. So the best thing that I teach in a lot of my programs is your identity of who you believe that you are. So the first thing might take a little bit more work, but this is what I do now, is I ask myself, what would the next level version of me do in this situation? How would she handle this? How would she act? What would she do? Because I am a very reactive person, or I have been a very reactive person. Now, I'm grateful because I've worked on that throughout the years of running businesses, because being reactive, it feels good, but it doesn't always come through it doesn't not get me what I want necessarily, but it doesn't give me the outcome that I feel would be the best for me. It can come off very not so nice, especially being very reactive. If you're in a state of panic or you're in a place of scarcity and you're all of a sudden reacting from that place now, you might look back on a few situations and be like, I wish I acted a little bit differently. So I always take a pause. And you can either meditate, you can journal. Sometimes that can help you get into the state of who is the next level version of me, because the biggest thing that we want to start practicing and doing is acting from that new next level version of you right now. And this is going to take some practice, but it's just asking yourself the question, what would the next level version of me do in this situation? How would they react and how would they respond? So that would be the first thing, because we want to start acting from the place of that new identity that we are trying to step into, that new person that's making the money and the clients and has the business that we want right now. So acting from that new place is going to help you step into that a lot faster than learning new tactics or new language. That's going to be the first thing. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to look inside yourself. So as I mentioned, life is a mirror. So figure out, are there places in your business where you are no-showing people, where you are not showing up, where you are saying yes to something and then backing out? Is there a place in your world right now where you have a little bit of shaky boundaries? And the reason that I share this with you is because when you experience this in your world and you get irritated by it and you get frustrated by it, which is definitely an emotion that most of us feel when that happens, we need to look within ourselves to say, where have I done this in my own business? Because there is a lot of times that if you are experiencing this over and over and over again, it's very likely that you are doing this to other people or within your business as well. For example, I would get really frustrated when people would cancel, no-show, or move their meetings at the last minute. And I had to take a good look inside. It took me a minute. This was a couple years ago. And I was like, gosh, I just don't feel like I have been showing up for my friends. I haven't been late. I've been telling people if I have been late, like I've been really acting in integrity. Then a light bulb moment went off. With my staff at that time, I would constantly move meetings. And I would move meetings at the last minute. I would say I was going to do something and then I didn't do it. I would, like I said, all of a sudden change the meetings at the last minute and say, instead of Zoom, let's do a phone call. And I realized that that was my area of opportunity to show up in a different way, to show up in a way how I want my clients, my students to show up for me, my partners, my loved ones, my dating relationships. I want them to show up in the way that I'm showing up. So I needed to clear that because life is a mirror. And it's so funny when you take a second to be like, where have I done this in my own life? Because I can tell you, the people who are no-showing meetings, who are canceling meetings without staying in integrity, because things happen, right? Where you might say yes to something and change your mind at the last minute. That's okay. But it's acting in integrity of the person that you want to be, of the person how you want others to treat you when they get stuck in that same situation. And a lot of times it just is communication. A lot of times it's just letting that person know exactly what's going on. A lot of times it's just, this is a way for you to practice your boundaries. Practice the way of speaking up or stepping into your power when things aren't going your way and maybe you have to say something or reschedule. It's not saying that that's never going to happen to you, because we live in a world where there's lots of things that can come into our world and push us off that we need to cancel meetings or reschedule. So not saying that it's never going to happen. It's just when I experience people who no-show or who show up late to meetings or who cancel, I can tell them exactly where they are in their business and exactly where they need to start before they join any of my programs, because that is an area that needs to be cleaned up first. Otherwise, it's going to continue to happen over and over again. And I'm not just saying the once in a while someone no-shows you or someone cancels on you, because I look at that as a way of, I'm happy that they showed themselves out. Why is this the best thing that ever happened to me? Maybe it doesn't look like it now, but maybe this would be someone that would be a pain in the butt to work with in the future. Maybe this would be someone that so I call God, the universe, Gus, just so you know. So if you hear me say Gus, it's God, universe, and source or spirit. So I say to Gus, I say, thank you so much for leading this person out of my life, because clearly we are not in alignment with one another, and that's okay. Same thing with dating, same thing with relationships on a friendship basis, same thing with dating relationships. I always say, thank you so much for taking this person out of my life, because potentially you saw something that I didn't see. The last step to do is to hold boundaries around your business. There's a lot of times where sometimes we don't know how to respond when it comes to someone canceling or rescheduling at the last minute. And again, being as a former reactive person, I would sometimes burn bridges or relationships with my tone or with the way, because like with emails, no one can actually, there's not a clear voice in an email, because obviously it's in an email. And so the biggest thing is that how can we properly and in alignment with ourselves communicate our boundaries, number one. And number two, how do we set that boundaries? Do you have a 24-hour cancellation policy? Do you ask for a certain amount of time? Are you telling this policy to people ahead of time? Are you asking them to share with you the reason that the cancellation is happening? As long as you know what feels best for you, are you communicating this with the people around you that need to know that information? And sometimes it just takes a second to ask yourself, what is my policy when it comes to my business practices, when it comes to cancellations, when it comes to reschedules? And you can literally just think about this. Number one, you can steal it from someone else. You can literally ask people around you what your policy is, what they do. Or you can sit in the energy of what does this next level version of me, what do they do when it comes to cancellations or reschedules? What is their policy? I've heard that sometimes people say, a couple weeks. Sometimes people, until they can get on the schedule again. Some people are like, you need to let me know within 48 hours. The best thing about this is you get to figure out what works the best for you, and standing in the energy and the empowerment of next level version of me. What are they doing? What are they expressing works best for them and feels really good for you? I will see you in the next video. I hope you have an abundant rest of your day, morning, or evening, whenever you are watching this video. I'll see you soon.